Morning. Good morning. I woke up according to schedule, dressed, and put on my sword belt. He's not going to be here today, is he? I wonder what's going to happen today. I stared into the mirror absent-mindedly and touched my lips. What was I thinking? I need to consider my guard duties. ELTCREED is my employer and I'm his guard. Besides, kissing is more like a greeting in the depths. Yeah, you gonna give Ulrich a big kiss next time you see him? He never said as much, but it was an easy assumption to draw based on the events of the previous day. Oh, so we're in France. I shouldn't overthink it. It carries no special meaning. You've got an important mission, Cyrus to Stella. Clear your mind. I slapped my own cheeks to distract myself. Okay, let's go. No more distractions, no more love business. ELTCREED is awake. Okay, he's still here. ELTCREED was sitting on the sofa reading a newspaper. I approached him, taking care that it didn't look like I was disturbed by what had happened. I have to talk and act like always. Good morning, ELTCREED.
Yes, good morning. There is breakfast for you over there. Thank you for protecting me today.
Yes, I will. That went strangely normally. He spoke as evenly and politely as always. His demeanor was exceedingly normal and not in the least unsettling. Still, I felt something was wrong. I haven't been here long enough to judge what's normal and what isn't, but as soon as he had finished talking, he had reverted his gaze to the newspaper and not looked at me again or uttered a single word. Yeah, we're at that point of every narcissist journey. I poured myself a glass of water in an uncomfortable silence. With a small platter of bread and my glass of water, I sat down at the table. Are we going to the bank today?
Yes, I'm a banker.
I could only respond to that with a nod. I will protect you on the way.
I believe that will be unnecessary. We'll take the carriage.
Oh. The carriage? How unusual. The bank wasn't far from the mansion. Normally, ELTCREED walked there.
Indeed. I've been invited to another district this afternoon.
Another district? Outside Liberalitas, then?
Yes. It's a quite boring trip, frankly. Would you like to come?
Absolutely. You would be in more danger outside your city. I need to accompany you as your guard.
As my guard.
Is something wrong?
Oh, no. Yes, you're my guard. No doubt about that.
He thanked me for my protection and looked back at the newspaper. Something is wrong. I went over the day's appointments. The bank in the morning, another district in the afternoon. Going by carriage was far safer than walking, but it didn't offer perfect protection. There might be a highway robbery or an attack as we embark. I have to be alert. Okay, as long as we're not going to the sanctuary district. In the afternoon, we went outside Liberalitas by carriage directly from the bank. Our destination was Temporantia. Apparently, it was the largest district in the depths with the longest history. That was all ELTCREED told me inside the carriage. As the one in charge of guard duties, this lets me concentrate better, but I still felt something was odd as I stared out the window. A gray world of machines and smoke. Is all the depths like this and not just Liberalitas? For someone like me, who had been convinced the depths had no civilization whatsoever, it was overwhelming. If I weren't on a mission, then I'm sure I could just stare at it forever. But I couldn't. The danger of attacks was real. I touched the hilt of my sword, waiting patiently for us to arrive. Nice place. They got style here in the depths. Eventually, we stopped in front of a large building and were led into a generous reception room. Everything looked like it came from the heights. This room... it reminds me so much of the heights. The furniture, the decorations... except for the more humid air, I would have been convinced I was in the heights.
About 100 years ago, interior design like it's done in the Heights was popular here. I assume this building was designed back then.
The people hated the heights, but their designs were popular?
Ulrich hates carrots, but he still eats vegetables. It's the same thing.
I see. It sort of made sense, but not really. Go along with it. As I pondered his strange explanation, a door opened and an aging man appeared. He carried papers bound with string. His clothes were refined and expensive, and he carried himself with the air of someone powerful. Oh! You actually have a sprite. How interesting.
I apologize for keeping you waiting, Mr. Valentine.
As soon as he stopped in front of us, ELTCREED bowed very deeply. I did the same.
By no means. Thank you for inviting me, Mr. Neue Temperans.
Neue Temperans. So that's his name. And the district was called Temporantia. From that and ELTCREED's behavior, I surmised that he was, without a doubt, the district's ruler.
Who is the woman? Oh, aforementioned decoration from the Heights.
Decoration?
Yes, she is. I would request her presence during our talks.
Of course, but decorations do not talk.
Have no fear, she is well-mannered.
You're very fond of her. I wonder what other designs you have for her. Ah, apologies, that's hardly my business.
No offense taken. We are quite busy these days. Could we skip the formalities?
Naturally. Please sit down.
Neue handed the papers over and gestured towards the seat. I stood diagonally behind ELTCREED and watched the proceedings. ELTCREED undid the string and read the contents.
Kernigolsit. So that's his name.
Yes. Or rather, it was. You killed him.
Huh? ELTCREED had killed him? I was completely taken aback, but ELTCREED only nodded politely.
2 days ago, your secretary was sent to Liberalitas to deliver documents to me, and I shot him.
Yes. We have recovered the bullets from his corpse.
Neue retrieved the bullets from a pocket and threw them towards ELTCREED. He caught them.
No doubt about it. These are my bullets. And this picture in the documents. I think I've seen him before.
He was a very capable man. A true loss for us.
The face. I looked at the picture that ELTCREED was tapping on. But that's... It was the man who had tried to kill ELTCREED 2 days earlier. Deliver documents? That's a lie. He shouted he was going to kill him. ELTCREED bowed to the ringleader of his planned assassination, his expression placid.
I had no idea he was your secretary. My deepest apologies.
Doesn't he remember? No. He said he remembers him. He must remember. So why... While I was still confused, the conversation continued. It's politics, girl.
I want more than your apologies. I'm sure you know that.
Yes, of course. We will pay the reparations stipulated.
ELTCREED took a pen from his pocket and signed the paperwork.
Allow me to offer my apologies again for depriving you of such a capable man.
Oh, you are still young. Mistakes are made. I do hope you will be more careful from now, Mr. Valentine.
I will strive to. Thank you for the suggestion, Mr. Temperance.
Of course. Guiding inexperienced administrators like you is also part of my job.
Uh-huh. Guiding them into the grave. The discussions were eventually concluded, and ELTCREED and I left without delay. I wonder what just happened. There would be no need for reparations in a case of self-defense. Is that different in the depths? I had a lot of questions, but ELTCREED didn't speak. I sensed like he wasn't in the mood for talking either, so I said nothing. Instead, I looked out of the window. Probably wise. Let him bring it up if he wants to. By the time we returned to his mansion, it was dark. I ate something light and went to my room. Man, this day just flew by. ELTCREED. After our return, he had gone to his room without eating. He looked the same as always. Even his last words before we parted were the same. Still, something was clearly wrong. He'd been odd the whole day. I wonder if it's just today, or... I pulled the curtains aside and saw someone in the garden. Is that... Whoa. I like your clock piece artwork. I also like this garden. Yes. It was ELTCREED. He was just standing there, staring at nothing in particular. ELTCREED.
2 years.
He raised his head and looked at me with lilac eyes.
If you hear the words 2 years, what does that remind you of?
2 years. My time as an officer. I worked there for 2 years.
I see. Did those 2 years feel long? Short?
Short. It was over in the blink of an eye.
I see. I think so too. I established Liberalitas 2 years ago.
2 years? Yes, you talked about that before. You made all this in 2 years.
Yes, well, 2 years ago my position was the head of the Valentine Bank. At the time, this district was called Verator. A tyrant ruled us. I did have business dealings with him, but... I had reasons enough to force him to leave. Verator was abolished and Liberalitas took its place. That happened 2 years ago. Obviously, I'm the most powerful man in Liberalitas, but our standing among the more storied districts is very low. Liberalitas is inferior in every respect. Our territory is small, and so is our industrial base. Without trade, our economy would collapse. That's why I have to accept even unreasonable requests like the one today.
You know it was unreasonable.
Of course. Who wouldn't remember the face of the men who tried to kill them? The other districts think that I lack the experience to maneuver their politics and try to annex us one way or another. If I was an idiot, I'd accept their silly proposals, get upset at their slights, or try to take revenge. But ELTCREED Valentine is very smart. I won't do that. I have to bow my head and think of the people here who depend on me.
Are you happy with that?
Yes. If all I have to sacrifice is some of my feelings, then I'll do it any day.
You're out here right now looking like that because you can't just sacrifice your feelings.
Looking like that? How do I look?
Sad. And upset.
I see. I'm too young. I still have a lot to learn before I'm opaque to them. I prefer to show off. Being a miserable sight's not my style.
ELTCREED. Is it too self-centered to ask you to bear it to me, at least?
You want the miserable version?
Yes. I'm your guard. I want to be the one who's closest to you. Show me the self you can't show to others. The self that looks miserable. I can't offer you much, but I can listen. Just, please, don't carry this weight alone.
No. It's a weight I need to carry alone. Besides, you're my guard. You have no duty to do all that for me.
Yes. I apologize for my indiscretion.
It's for the best. I don't know what I would do to you otherwise.
Do to me?
Yes. I told you before that love is free and infinite. That if others seek it, I will give it. But you're not seeking my love. You're the one-sided object of my adoration and imagination. I'm sure you're doing this because you're caring and good. I shouldn't exploit that. I don't want to pluck such a rare flower meaninglessly. You are my knight. You are special. I don't want to sully you.
This was going so lovely. This was not the response I was expecting. Cyrus, you're quickly replacing Chizuru as one of my favorite protagonists, please. Okay. No, I must be sullied.
What?
A knight serves their master. They crawl through the mud, covered in blood, and kill his enemies. That isn't possible, Unsullied. Okay, that's where you were going with that. Girl. You made my eyes go as wide as ELTCREED's, I swear. I don't want to be a decoration. I want to serve and protect you. Show me. Teach me who you really are.
What a hard request. I've almost lost sight of who I was. Showing you that is...
If you've lost sight of who you are, we'll look for it together. Just don't suffer alone.
I have my own way of thinking. I don't want to lay everything bare. We haven't even known each other for very long. But... all right. I do think I could tell you more of myself. As you just saw, I can wilt quite quickly under pressure. Isn't that funny, considering how high and mighty I act otherwise? Please protect me, if you still would.
Yes, gladly.
Thank you, my knight.
ELTCREED smiled softly at me and touched my hair. Ah. He ran his fingers over my ears and down my cheeks before tracing my neck.
Today, I won't kiss you. I'm already quite happy.
He had gently embraced me. I was surprised, but accepted it. Oh. He's so tall and muscular, but then... the weight he had to carry was overwhelming, and it made him seem so small to me. Aww. There wasn't much that I could do, but I still wanted to help him. The night was dark and silent, without moon or stars, but my wish to help was clear and bright. One of these days I'm gonna get an embrace CG. One of these days. I mean, I guess we technically had a half embrace with the bed one, but... As the days went on, I continued my guard duties. The rhythms of life in the depths were becoming more familiar to me. Part of me was uneasy about that. I felt like being too accustomed to all this was dangerous. After all, what about my parents' murderers? What about the stain on my family name? Throughout my quiet days, inner turmoils raged inside me. I like that they're establishing time has passed. Like, quite a bit of time. It's not just like day after day after day. I was perpetually reminded of the past by the tower's enormity, visible from wherever I was. Life was good in Libralitas. I had essentially accepted my new role here. I couldn't decide whether I wanted to leave the past behind me or cling to it. The embers of anguish smoldered, never cooling. What about Finn? Have you forgotten Finn? ELTCREED, good work today. What are your plans for this evening?
Oh, are you asking me out on a date?
No, I'm asking as your guard.
Thank you for your diligent answer, my knight. You're impeccable as always. I have a dinner party tonight. I would like you to come.
A dinner party? But
Don't worry. This time there are no extremists present. They won't mind if someone from the Heights attends.
There are those who don't?
Yes. The guests have something they are more interested in than birth. I doubt they can afford to criticize it.
I see. Very well then. Please let me attend.
Thank you. I will arrange for a change of clothes.
Change of clothes?
Yes. I had a dress made for you for just such an occasion.
A dress?
Oh, you don't know what a dress is? There is a large variety of them, so it's a little difficult to explain. Suffice to say that the orthodox variants have skirts about yay long.
No, I know what a dress is, and what they look like as well. I actually was trying on a wedding dress not that long ago. I was surprised by the necessity to change into one.
Because I entered your name on my reply. And I also made a bit of a bungle of it.
Did you give her your last name? A bungle? ELTCREED grinned and nodded. I knew it. I know your game. Don't think you can pull the wool over my eyes. You know how many narcissists I've dated? Ha!
You see, I didn't know the spelling of your last name, Testella. After thinking about it for a while, I ended up writing Valentine.
How does anybody make that mistake?
It happens. The ways of the world are mysterious and terrifying. You see, as I wondered how to write Testella, I eventually decided to just scribble down something.
Scribble down.
So, being too used to putting my own under documents, that scribble turned into Cyrus Valentine.
Heh? What? But you could have crossed it out right there or written a new reply.
Documents remain long after our deaths. I wouldn't want something crossed out to outlive me. Imagine that future societies display the writings of the famous ELTCREED Valentine in a museum with a plaque decrying my childish mistakes. No, that's unacceptable.
ELTCREED.
And there we are. I want you to attend as my pro-tempore partner. Unless your clothes conform to the bare minimum expected, I would be shamed. Do you want them to laugh at me?
Oh, this is a new one. I don't.
Thank you. I look forward to you in a dress. Please change right now. Someone! Show her to the dressing room. Help her also with the makeup.
Makeup? Makeup?
Yes, I shall expect you later.
You did this on purpose! ELTCREED disappeared with a smile as a female employee came to take me to the dressing room. I need Finn to help me with this. I do not remember the rest. I'm just picturing like a Mulan-esque series of events. Just her being thrown into a tub and hair pulled this way and that. I changed clothes as they told me, sat down on a chair and had the makeup applied. I do hope we get to see her in this after all this effort. Before long, Cyrus the bodyguard was gone. And Cyrus Valentine emerged. What am I supposed to do? What's the right thing to do now? I'm back.
Ah. Why are you hiding behind the pillar?
I'm embarrassed.
Please, let me see it.
No, I really shouldn't be wearing a dress.
I can't pass judgment on that without seeing it. Stop resisting and come to your master. Oh boy.
Don't blame me if it looks bad. I worked up all my courage and showed myself to ELTCREED. He fell silent as soon as he saw me. See? It's unspeakable! I like that this is the effect she has on guys when she wears a dress. This happened to Finn, too. Where they're just, like, struck by her beauty. It must be horrible. I know. I will go and change back.
No, that won't be necessary.
He held me back by the hand before I could turn around and leave.
In fact, it looks incredible. It's much more beautiful than I imagined. I apologize for my stunned silence.
You don't have to be considerate.
Oh, I'm serious. It's so beautiful that I'd like to write a song of praise and have a medal forged for myself, the one who selected the dress.
Uh-huh. Don't forget about your humility as well. ELTCREED took a step towards me and lifted my chin. Oh. He made to kiss me, but stopped at the last second. I felt his breath on my lips.
I'm glad I could stop myself. Kissing you now will ruin the lipstick.
He kissed me on the neck. I knew he'd do this, but I'm glad you stopped. My heart fluttered when he touched me, as if my soul was being tickled. I was confused. I'm his guard. It shouldn't feel so soft. Remembering what was and wasn't appropriate, I took a step back to create some distance. I'm glad it doesn't look unusual. That's good.
I'm happy you can accept it. What's your personal opinion?
I'm going back. Only for you. Perhaps you will laugh at me for saying this, but the dress itself looks adorable. I think I can accept it. I suppose. I'm sorry. It's not my place to say so. I'm sure it must look abominable.
No. It looks very good on you. How shall I put this? It's very cute to see you blush as you speak. I was engaged in a battle with the demon of lust inside me.
I'm gonna be deceased before the end of this route, I swear. Cyrus, stop! You gotta know what that is, surely. Lust?
Yes, it commanded me to rip that forget what I said. I'm very glad that you like the dress as well.
Oh. I entirely forgot that it hasn't been all that long since I wore a dress. It was a memory from the Heights. It really hadn't been all that recently. Finn! Our first mention of Finn in ages. I remember trying on a wedding dress with Finn. Wedding?
Finn? Who is that? Your boyfriend?
Huh?
Or was he your partner? Were you even married already?
What? No! I wasn't married! Finn was just a colleague. I was only trying on the dress. It wasn't a wedding.
I see. That's good. I mean, no, it isn't. I would have wanted to see you in a wedding dress too. I want to have you wear one.
ELTCREED?
You want to see me in a tuxedo too, right?
I don't care. Can you ignore the wedding element? Are you really sure I should attend the dinner? I'm from the Heights and ignorant of your customs. I'm sure it would inconvenience you in some form.
Would you accept it if I went with a different woman?
What do you mean?
The dinner today is for couples. It wouldn't be hard for me to ask a woman to go with me. But would you accept that?
ELTCREED was free to go with whoever he wanted, and it wasn't my place to complain about that. We weren't married, engaged, or in any other kind of personal relationship. It was really none of my business. But I do want to be the one next to him. I wondered if I thought that way out of a desire to guard him. If I wasn't his guard, would I still feel the same way, I asked myself. I wouldn't like that. If something were to befall you, I could defend you. I don't think a different woman would be able to do that. So...
May I interpret this as non-acceptance?
As your guard, I advise against it. As your guard. I think.
All right. That's enough for now. That wasn't a fair question. Apologies. I didn't want to feel like I'm always pushing my love on you. I wanted to feel like you wanted me near you as well.
ELTCREED.
We are knight and master. Our relationship goes both ways, and I want both of us to care about the other. That was a long conversation, wasn't it? Let's go. My knight.
Yes. Yes, I'm a knight. I was his knight, his guard. Wanting to be near him was natural. Then why does my heart beat so fast? How do I really feel about him?